Welcome home to USA Global TV and Radio, a place where dreams take flight, with authentic storytelling, diverse perspectives and meaningful conversations, where global stories unite and bridges are built beyond all borders. Discover world-class education, entertainment, hope and inspiration. Together, we're building bridges worldwide. Subscribe to our channel, USA Global TV. Download our app, USA Global TV. Be our guest or join our team. Visit usaglobaltv.com. Thanks to our founder and executive producer, Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck. Music score by Yeffy Tang from Cloud Road Music. Voiceover artist Mike Porter. Creative direction by Paul Garcia. USA Global TV and Radio, your home for global connection. All rights reserved. This video and its contents are the exclusive property of USA Global TV and Radio. Unauthorized use, duplication or redistribution in any form is strictly prohibited.
Howdy y'all, Reverend Laughlin here. We're on the Wise Ones on the USA Global TV and Radio Network. My guest today is Chris Sievers, who will be joining us here in just a moment. Let me do just a real brief introduction of myself. I consider myself a researcher, writer, author, TV host, speaker. But when I'm not doing TV shows, and today I have 3 of them back to back to back. We just finished the Corner Bookstore. The show we're on right now is called The Wise Ones, and my show following this one immediately will be called Talking Heads. And my topic today is the real driver of aging, damage versus repair. And so we'll go into a lot of detail there with some good information. I research the human body at the cellular level. Chemically speaking, I look for cause and effect relationships. I specialize in longevity and age-related diseases. That's what I write about. That's what I speak about. And so I think that's enough about me for right now. So why don't we get our guest up here today. Chris Sievers, please join me. Chris is the founder and CEO of Dreams in Bloom LLC.com. He's also a fellow Houston area guy. We share a couple other networking events that we pop up periodically on. So Chris, great to see you smiling, and we managed to connect, and that's the best thing that happens. So
yes, thank you for having me, Red.
So how's your day going?
It's fantastic. It's beautiful outside, sun shining, and it's perfect weather here in Houston. So I'm happy.
Yeah, the rest of the country may not have the 80s that we have here, but
right.
You know, that's their choice of where to live, and they know what to expect.
That's right.
We know that freezing weather happens and that we have to experience it, but we don't have to do it for months at a time. But
that's right. Yeah, we get a lot of variety, but you know, it doesn't last long.
Okay, you're a certified life mastery consultant. How did that happen?
Yes. That happened kind of out of the blue, as they say. I got introduced to transformational principles back in 2017, and I just, couldn't get enough. So I kept immersing myself in them. And finally, the Brave Thinking Institute said, "What about being a life coach?" And I said, I don't know. That's not something I think I could do. And so after some talking, I'm like, sure, I could be a life coach. I've got the experience behind me. I've experienced a lot in life, and I've overcome a lot. So I can help others. So that I jumped in with both feet and became certified as a life master consultant through the Brave Thinking Institute. And I haven't looked back yet.
Okay, so somebody who finds you, what is their experience prior to them coming to you?
People that finally get to me have had such pain and unfulfillment in life. They do all the right things. They show up for work. They do the responsible thing, and they keep asking themselves, "Is this all there is?" They get burned out. They're unfulfilled. And so when they come to me, I will do lots of questions and take them through a process to get in touch with that dream that they've always had, but it's been pushed back to the back burner most of our life. And once we get in touch with that dream and they see that life they would love, we start looking at the thought process that they have to keep them small, playing in the the box of being an adult, doing the responsible thing. That is a thought process that we are not good enough to move on. We're not equipped, don't have enough training, whatever the case may be. We can come up with 1,000 different thoughts. So we address those thoughts, and then we put things in place where we can start to counter those thoughts, change them in real time. And once you change that thought process, you start to see new and exciting things happening in your life. You get different results with a different thought. And once you get a different thought, you take different actions. So that's where people come to me, and that's how we kind of go through the process to change their results.
A lot of times, Chris, I've found, because I've been to a number of seminars and webinars and this and that, they talk about limiting beliefs. And this is a major hurdle because you've had this belief for decades, and all of a sudden they're saying, you really need to change that. Well, if it was that easy to change, like stopping to smoke or lose weight or whatever, you might make some little inroads in it. You might be successful for a while, but that belief that is limiting their dream world is always there. How do you work around that? How do you get success in really and truly knocking those limiting beliefs out?
Well, I take people through a process called notice what you're noticing. And we can notice what we're thinking at any moment. And what I do is, if I start feeling that I'm frustrated or, anxiety or whatever, it's like, wait a minute, what am I thinking? And when I notice what I'm thinking, normally it's a negative thought, a limiting belief, and I can change that at that moment in real time. And once I change it, it changes my physiology, because my body will now relax into the new thought. And that new thought, I'm going to put on what it is I would love, the dream, the new car, whatever it is that I am dreaming of. That's the thought that I'm going to put on my thoughts on. And we've all heard the saying, energy goes where energy flows. And once I am thinking that new thought, that's where my energy is going to go. And you do that over and over and over. Now, do those limiting beliefs completely disappear? Absolutely not. They're going to creep in from time to time, but you recognize them quicker. And when you recognize them, you shift it. And it just becomes an easier pattern. I've heard people say, and I've even experienced this myself in life, that you have something that you want to change, just have positive thoughts. Well, there's a difference between a mindset and a positive thought. I can think a positive thought, but that doesn't mean I'm changing my mindset. So a positive thought is good, but it won't last typically. You have to come back and change the mindset to then change your thoughts into a positive direction.
Okay, but there's some level of practicality there too, because if my dream is to make $1 million a month, and I've never made more than $10,000 in my life in a month, that's going to be that's kind of impractical. How do you align practicality with the transition of this mindset change?
Absolutely. The thought process, the dream can be anything. Everything is created twice, so it has to be created in thought before it becomes a thing. So in practicality, if you will, we're going to take, and we'll just stick with the money theory. The suggestion I have for clients is, if you've only made $30,000 a year your whole life, triple that and let that be your goal for the next 3 years. And that will kind of put a pause on what the mind thinks is possible. If we do it a year, your mind is going to play that limiting belief over and over and over again. Well, you've never done it up till now. Why you think in the future it's going to happen? But if we move it out 3 years, the mind's like not quite sure. In 3 years, that could be possible. So I have them go through that process of building a 3-year dream. In 3 years, if I give you a magic wand and you could not fail, what would your dream life be? And if we're thinking of money, making $90,000 in a 3-year time frame per year, that is possible. But you have to do more than just have the thought. When you have a thought and your dream, you have to take actions. It doesn't have to be big actions. It can be small little baby steps. But if you keep taking them, you can get to your dream by taking those baby steps as long as you keep taking them.
What kind of successes have your clients seen?
I have had lots of success. My one client that I talk about quite frequently is a retired lady. She was on a fixed income, not sure really how she's going to eat at the end of the month because her income is so little. She was scared, stuck. And so we started working the process. And I never knew this, that we didn't discuss it in any of our talks, but at about week 5, I found out that she was an artist. Never sold a piece of art in her life. Always given it to family and friends for gifts and stuff. And I asked her, well, what about selling your art? Oh, I couldn't do that. I'm not good enough. That old limiting belief, I'm not good enough. I said, well, do your family and friends like your art? Well, yeah, they say they love it. Well, why wouldn't somebody else love it? Well, after a few more weeks, out of the blue, she got an invitation to an art show through a friend that had received one of her pieces of art. And we talked her through it and through those limiting beliefs. I'm not good enough. What if I don't sell anything? I said, go and just have fun. Just try it. She did. And she sold over $700 worth of art that day. So we found her a new way to make some money. And so her life has just grown. I talked to her the other day. She said, I absolutely love my life. Thank you, thank you, thank you. That is just one success story that has been through this process. And I just love hearing those stories and witnessing this transformation that people go through, going through my programs.
Do they really know what their dream is?
A lot of people don't. I've had people say, well, I can't dream. But everyone can dream. We've just been told, quit daydreaming. If you want something, work hard, double down, get a new job, whatever. So our dream has been pushed to the very back of our minds. But once we start opening up to a possibility, that dream can start to bloom again. It may not look exactly like it did when you were 5 years old, but you can start to create something new, a new dream. I'm not dreaming the same thing that I dreamed when I was 10 years old. I have new, bigger, more robust dreams. So once we get into that process of opening up to a new possibility, we can start to become aware of what we would really love. We're going to take away and strip out any limiting beliefs, not what is practical, not what everyone else thinks I can have. but what would I truly love? What would make me come alive? And once we step into that and start putting it on as like an actor putting on the new character, that's what we do in dream building. We put on that dream as though we are living that dream now. In our minds, we are. So once we do that, we see and open up to new opportunities that we would normally have ignored or not seen. We have a part of our brain called the reactor, and I'm getting it wrong right now. The reactive, I'm sorry, it's reticular activating system. I think that's the part of our brain that will focus, and we will only see what we focus on. If we're focused on getting a new red car, we're going to see a lot of new red cars on the road because that's what we're focused on. So that's what we do in our dream building. We focus on our dream and we see more opportunities.
Okay, Chris, we're going to go to a commercial break here very quickly.
Okay.
When we come back, on your website, you have a thing there called Working with the Law that I thought was kind of intriguing. So I want to go down that road. So let's go ahead and take a commercial break, and we'll be back in a minute or so.
All right.
Get ready to wear the brand that's changing the world of media. Introducing the official USA Global TV and Radio online store. From our TV show hosts to our incredible global guests, you asked, we delivered. Rep your appearance with pride. Whether you've been on air, hosted a show, or tuned in, we have something just for you. Visit us at usaglobaltvradioshoп.myspreadshop.com and start shopping today. Check back frequently. We're dropping fresh new designs all the time. Showcase your role in our global community. These designs celebrate your voice, your story, your presence. It's more than just merchandise. It's a movement of hope, inspiration, education, and elevated listening. Head to usaglobaltvradioshoп.myspreadshop.com. Your spotlight awaits. USA Global TV and Radio. Elevate your style. Elevate the world.
Howdy, Reverend Laughlin here. We're on The Wise Ones with Chris Sievers. Chris, please join me back up here on stage.
Sure. Thank you, Red.
Chris, on your website, which is dreamsinbloomllc.com, you have a tab there, a page called, let's see at the top of the page, it's called Coaching, I think is what it's called.
Yeah.
And when you go down, it says Working with the Law. And that caught my attention right away, so I had to look at it.
Yeah.
And because my daughter works with the law, she's been in that field for quite a while. But when I actually went to the law, it surprised me. It didn't really surprise me, but it was a neat way of catching somebody's attention. So let's talk a little bit about working with the law.
Okay. Working with the law, there's 12 different laws. The law of thinking, law of supply, law of attraction, law of receiving, law of increase, the law of compensation, on and on. All of these laws, we kind of live in them, but we kind of go by default. We're not really thinking about them much. But once we are thinking about these laws and we are very familiar and become very familiar with these laws, we know how to operate within these laws. And like the law of attraction, if you want something, you attract it to you. It may be the love of your life. And if you're wanting to attract the love of your life, you're going to put yourself in an attractive mode. You're going to step into that law of attraction. So you've always heard you want to be the person, who, my mind just went blank. You want to be the person you're attracting. So if you want that loving partner, you're going to start loving more. You're going to open up to be loved. And you're going to be noticing that you're more available for love. And that's what the attraction process, you open up yourself, you love more, you're going to get more love back. And that's what's attractive to people. They see that. And that is part of working with the law. There's all these laws that you work within. Once you understand them, it becomes very easy to work with the law.
Okay, so you're talking about a mindset change, and you're introducing concepts to people who have never heard of law of attraction. Maybe they have.
Right.
Certainly the other 10 or more are not ones that are common for most of us.
Right.
And such that, so now you have an educational part of your job is to say, well, this law exists, it works for everyone. You may not be aware of it. So how do you work that process with somebody that this is a totally foreign concept?
Most usually I take people through my Dream Builder program first. And the Dream Builder program kind of sets you up to be more familiar with the laws. And once we go through the Dream Builder process, you have that sense of attraction, the law of compensation. You have all of these thinking, the law of thinking. You have all these different laws that you're already kind of living into. So the process, you've kind of already stepped into the mindset of changing your mindset to work within those laws. So that's where we do kind of a step-by-step process to get to working with the laws, and then we go deeper into those.
Is this something you're going to cover in your class coming up here very shortly?
The the workshop that I'm going to be doing is the first Wednesday of the month. The next one, I believe, is the 4th of March at 6 p.m. I cover 3 principles in the Dream Builder program, which is my signature program. And 3 principles are the first 3 principles in the Dream Builder program. And those 3 principles, if you apply those to your life at the beginning of the program, even on the workshop, if you start applying those, you're going to start seeing positive results, more impactful results in your life. And that's what I cover in the hour-long workshop that I do on the Wednesday, the first Wednesday of the month.
Do you find any difference between somebody, say a 20-year-old, 30-year-old versus a retiree, in being able to take the concepts you have and put them into practice?
The younger people tend to be a little more, I guess, pliable and more able to kind of morph into that thinking, because they've not had the rigid thinking like my generation. So for the older people, I won't say it's harder. It's a new concept to change my thinking. I've heard that all my life, but no one told me how to do it. It's like you change your thinking, you change your results. But how do I do that? And how do I apply that? So that's what I find with the older people. They have the question of, well, how do I do that? And that's the process that we go through in my Dream Builder program, is we learn the how to apply it. And we do that by asking ourselves the question, what would I love? And once you step into that, the how really is irrelevant at that point. We know where we are and we know where we want to go. It's that middle part that we just don't know how to do. But once we open up, we will be able to take steps to get to that dream that we want.
Okay, our subconscious mind, prevents us from doing a lot of things because we've had failures. And when you're 60, 70, 80-year-old, you had more than your fair share of failures. But a lot of the older generation are still in a continuous learning mode. At least I've found that. And so there's an offset. Okay, well, that's something I didn't know, whether it's technology or other things. But the younger generation are more adaptive to the technology, to the change and things. They may not have as many failures because they haven't tried as many things. So I think there's some issues there that that subconscious mind is sometimes a real hard nut to crack.
It is, and I recognize that with a lot of people, and I had that myself. But what I find is if we can find a way to reframe that from failure, and my coach says this beautifully, it's not failure, it's feedback. And I think that is just a brilliant way to look at it. If I look at it as failure, then that's what it's going to be. It's going to be a failure. But if I look at it, well, that didn't work the way I thought it was going to work. So let me reframe that. That's what don't work. Let me try something else. It was feedback. Thomas Edison had many, many so-called failures, and he was asked, how did you survive all those failures? And he looked at the guy and he said, it was never a failure, it was feedback. He learned what didn't work before he found one that did work. And that's the way we look at failure through my programs and my own life. I've reframed a lot of my past as feedback. I learned what didn't work, and now I pivot and try something new.
And a lot of military exercises that I went on, there was a session afterwards, lessons learned, where you say, okay, what worked, what didn't work.
Exactly.
And so when you're looking at an exercise 2 years ago, 3 years ago, well, that didn't work then. What can we do to make it work now? And so that's, I think what you're talking about, the reframing is a significant advantage for somebody who has a failure, I'm going to say grasp, is that the first assessment of what happened, as opposed to, okay, well, that happened. Especially I failed and I'm a failure. It's framing of how you do that. And that I think is super critical for almost anybody, whether it's a marriage, whether it's a new job, any aspect of our life, we have that vision of I failed. No, I failed that particular task. I'm not a failure.
Absolutely.
And so you're reframing it, that's fine. But we're getting toward the end of the show here, Chris. How do people get in touch with you and what's going on?
Okay, they can reach me by phone at 832-377-7092. I don't have it up there, but my email address is chris.sievers@dreamsandbloomllc.com. Or you can go to my website at dreamsandbloomllc.com, and I have a contact button there as well.
Okay, so for our audio audience, we'll be picking this up later on this afternoon. 832-377-7092. And just like it's pronounced, dreamsandbloomllc.com. And that's his website, Chris, CHRIS .Sievers, SEVERS, at dreamsandbloomllc.com. And there is a contact tab on his website that you can set up an appointment there. Chris, I wish we had more time today. Things didn't work out the way we originally planned, but you're certainly welcome to come back later on, and we will continue this discussion because I just found it absolutely fascinating. A different way of looking at things that we've looked at all our lives, and sometimes they work, but now you have a nice, easy way, not easy, it's never easy, but you have a nice way of helping somebody around the corner that they could never find the corner. So that's good.
Right. Thank you.
So take care, Chris, and we will catch you later on. We're getting ready to wrap up today's show called The Wise Ones on the USA Global TV and Radio Network. At any time, you can go to YouTube and go to USA Global TV, and all our archives are there. The new shows coming up, playlists for everything. There's over 60 different shows available on USA Global TV and Radio Network. My next show starts here in about 24 minutes or so. And it's called it's called Talking Heads. And my topic today is, make sure I get this right, the real driver of aging, damage versus repair. I am Red O'Loughlin, and I wish you the very best, and we will catch you again either in an hour or next week. Take care. Bye now.
Have you ever felt unheard? Like your words float into a void, leaving you invisible and disconnected? How about feeling judged, when assumptions overshadow your truth, leaving you misunderstood and defensive? And then there's that moment when someone offers solutions you never asked for, dismissing your feelings and leaving you more frustrated than before. It doesn't have to be this way. Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck, the listening mentor, understands. She's here to help you reclaim your voice, build stronger connections, and create meaningful conversations that inspire understanding and mutual respect. Through her groundbreaking books, online and in-person courses, and interactive workshops, you'll learn how to navigate life's most challenging interactions. Discover the power of elevated listening and transform how you communicate. Master setting boundaries and asking permission to protect your peace. Learn to recognize and release judgment, fostering empathy and true connection. Dr. Kerbeck also offers personalized coaching, one-on-one or group sessions, designed to fit your unique needs. Whether in person or virtually on StreamYard, her guidance will empower you to thrive. You don't have to struggle alone. The path to deeper connections and better relationships start here. Visit drjacqueline.com or usaglobaltv.com. Join a global community of empowered listeners and transform your life, one meaningful conversation at a time. Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck is the listening mentor. Start your journey today. Thank you, viewers and listeners of USA Global TV and Radio, for joining us today. We're honored to have your time and attention as part of our global community. At USA Global TV and Radio, we believe in the power of authentic conversations, meaningful connections, and creating a world of possibilities together. Want to be part of something bigger? Join our team of elevated listeners at usaglobaltv.com, a space where your voice matters and your ability to listen transforms relationships. Stay connected with us across all our platforms for thought-provoking discussions, expert insights, and empowering stories. Subscribe to our channels at youtube.com/c/usaglobaltv. Follow us on social media and explore the endless opportunities we're creating for growth, learning, and inspiration. Together, we're not just broadcasting, we're building bridges and changing lives one conversation at a time. For inquiries, contact us at info@usaglobaltv.com. Produced by Executive Producer and Director Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck. Voiceover by Mike Porter. Creative direction by Paul Garcia. All rights reserved. Visit usaglobaltv.com to view our full terms and conditions.